Good afternoon, friends and family. Today we will talk somewhat on the Putin Trump summit in Alaska. Now, as you all know, there has been a back and forth with Trump and Putin about the Ukraine war. Now, they have decided to meet in Alaska and try to trash things out. This is scheduled to be on August 15th, 2025. But before we get started, my name is Never Potts, and this is the West Best Media. Please like and share, and hit the bell icon to subscribe so you won't miss the next video. The world political spotlight shift to Alaska, U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will be meeting in what could be the most consequential face-to-face of the decade. Officially, the topic is supposed to be the war on the Ukraine, but make no mistake, this meeting isn't about more. This meeting is about more than Europe battlefield. It's about the next world order. And for Africa, whether leaders are present in the room or not, the ripple effect will be impossible to ignore. Yes, my friend, this is about the next world order. Fact. This is located from the Reuters organizations who covers Trump and Putin, and that's what they said. How we got to this. Trump and Putin history from the controversial Helsinki summit in 2018 to the strained relation during Biden presidency. This is not their first encounter, but it is their first meeting since Trump returned to office. Why Alaska? Symbolically, it's halfway between the United States and Russia. If you don't know, Alaska was at one time part of Russia. It was a Russian territory until 1867, when the US bought that piece of land from the Russian. Now, what's at stake for Ukraine? Western media say the US want a ceasefire. Russia want peace on its own terms, which could mean keeping territory to seize. The US is pushing hard to get a ceasefire. Europeans are uneased. Leaders in Paris, Berlin, Warsaw have warned Trump not to pressure Ukraine into a territorial concession. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte called this summit a test of Russia's real intention. NATO has been pressing for a briefing since August 10th, 2025. This was reported by Politico. Russia is positioning Kremlin advisor Hillary Dmitry warned that a titanic effort will be made to disrupt them. Is only a titanic effort will be made to disrupt this meeting, hinting at both political sabotage and possible security threats. So, this is a very high stake meeting, my brothers and sisters. It has to do with food security, energy security, you name it. It's a high stake meeting. And African nations import millions of tons of Russian and Ukrainian grains. The war has driven up bread price from Lagos to Cairo. A peace deal could stabilize supply chain and prices. And this was fact checked by the African News. Energy and infrastructure. Russia is a major player in Africa oil and gas and nuclear projects. The West funds infrastructure and provide aid and end to hostility. This free up more investment capital from both sides if we could get a ceasefire. Military partnership is another big one. Russia's security contractors operate in West Africa, in Mali, Burkina Faso, and the Central African Republic. A post-war, a post-Russia war might expand this footprint, especially if Western influence continue to shrink. Now let's get to BRICS. BRICS, with Russia, China pushing to expand BRICS for other African nations, are in a position to bargain for better trade terms, debt relief, and technology transfers. The danger of exclusion. If Africa is not proactive, a new global agreement could be drafted without African input, locking the continent into economic or security arrangement decide in Alaska, not Addis Ababa or Accra or any of these African cities, but in Alaska. Let's move to West Africa and the impact on that region. Here are some scenarios. The West Africa Sahel states with alliance may gain stronger Russian backing and more military aid if Moscow emerge as the stronger, which means that if Putin comes out on top, it'll be a game changer for African states. This could shift regional power balance. Yes. Africa countries like Ethiopia, the Sudan, is negotiating both with Western and Eastern alliance, could leverage this moment to secure infrastructure, funding, and competing bloc with competing blocs, which mean would be the Western Bloc or the the, um, the Russian bloc. North Africa energy. North Africa is energy rich. Europe is forced to diversify away from Russian gas. So Europe is headed is relying more on North African gas and energy. Like countries like Algeria, which is already close to Moscow, might benefit from an expansion. So if Russia comes out on top, Algeria would benefit more, where they'll be able to expand their energy sector. Southern Africa. South Africa is one of the founding members of BRICS. This could South Africa could see its diplomatic role grow, but only if it positions itself as a mediator between Africa and various interests. So South Africa has a major role to play in BRICS to bring the African nations closer or be more favorable. Lesson from history. In the 1970s, there was a Cold War. Negotiation between United States and US at that time it was USSR openly or opened the space of African liberation movement for it to gain support from one bloc while negotiating aid from the other. And this fact check was from the Academy Journal of Cold War African Archives. 2016 to 2018, there was a summit between Trump, then who was president, and Putin. The talks then may not have been Africa focused, but resulting in shifts in Russia and in the United States. Russian dynamics had indirectly effect on oil and price sanction and security contracts with Africans. When superpowers renegotiate their relationship, excuse me, Africa is often the consequences of those negotiations. First, the commodity market, and then it's geopolitical. So Africa at all times become the supply chain when the Western powers, excuse me, have the upper hand with Russia and the US negotiation. African states are exploited. Not that the Russians are not exploiting the African states, but Africa states get a better deal from Russia than from the United States. The United States looked at Africa as colony. It looked at Africa as we should go in and take what we want without any development or helping of its people, or very little help. As we finished, I want to say this. Alaska may feel far from Accra or Addis Ababa, but the political shockwave will reach Africa's shore. This summit is a reminder that the global power deals doesn't just reshape Europe or Asia, they ripples through Africa food prices, energy security, and foreign space policy space. The question is, will African leaders ride the wave or will swept away by it? This has been the West Best Media and my take and what's going on with this summit with the United States and Russia. Please like and share and hit the bell icon to subscribe so you won't miss another video. Thanks and have a good day.